and welcome to where we try and apply the lessons that were listed in the guide earlier. So my name is Quitch and I'm going to be walking you through how I think we best apply those lessons, and the sound sorts itself out. Excellent. Okay, so one of the golden rules, in fact, in the guide talks about mods, and you'll see here that I have a number applied, including the one that actually adds this tab in the first place. We have the acceptance mod, which is going to accept the EULA for me every time. The auto select commander, so I don't have to pick my commander who first lands. That's so we can do our fancy videos. That is so I can get systems other people have created. This tells me how much metal is on each planet. This replaces Uber's hotkey system with one that existed long before the Uber system, and that I much prefer. This helps or used to help the UI lag. I'm not sure it's working these days, but there it is. That's what adds the nice picture up here, and the stats down here from the ladder. That's what helps create stats for the ladder in the first place, and some other stuff. Yeah, unit database adds a new thing on the menu, so we can see what units do, etc. The point is that all of this is added to the game through the PA mod manager, something I highly recommend because this game is not yet finished. As it's not finished, there are definite ways in which the UI can be improved. So I strongly recommend you check out the mod soon, find things that suit you. Okay, so let's get a game set up here. So to do this, we're going to throw in an AI. We are going to put it at the hardest non-cheating difficulty. So by default, the AI doesn't cheat. I mean, it can't see stuff you can't see. It doesn't have magic radar coverage. It doesn't know where your commander is. It has to scout just as you do. It has to build economy just as you do. It has to do all the same things that you have to do. So every time you feel that the game is being unfair, it's just that you're not playing as well as you should be. But this is what this guide's about, how we can improve the way that we play. So I'm just going to make a new system that's not going to be all water, because that won't make for a very good AI game. I don't even know if they've sorted that out yet. Let's go pick a nice colour that's going to be nice and easy to see. And let's give the AI colour that's got a contrast. Okay, so we're going to leave the economic handicap, or economic multipliers, at the default level, so we both have exactly the same income. And let's get this game fired up. So one of the first things we're going to do when the system comes up is we're going to look at spawn points. Because that's the first decision we have to make. Where's the best place to land on the planet? And we're going to want that to be something that gives us some expansion possibilities. So it's very tempting sometimes just to go at the what looks to have the most metal in it initially. I have a big fat patch next to it as well, but how do you grow? How do you expand? How do you carry on the game from that point? So, as we can see, we have 2 spawns only, and I think it's pretty obvious that spawn 2 is going to be the one to go for here. Spawn 1, decent metal at first, and then absolutely nothing. Absolutely terrible spawn. We're not going anywhere near it. We're going to go here, where we've got a decent amount of metal, but lots of excellent opportunities to expand in both directions, so we can send one Fabra out this way, one Fabra out this way maybe, or maybe we'll send a Fabra straight out in this direction to start claiming this metal. Another thing to do is try and figure out where the enemy is going to be. Now these spawn, this is terrible, so if he spawns here for example, that's not going to be good for him. We probably want to send a scout down this way, and a scout out this way I suspect, so down here into the down there and over there. That should cover us, I think. So let's get ourselves in the game. Placing a factory is not going to be the easiest here. Okay, so we've found a spot, a place where we don't have to move to get to the metal. Let's spawn. And as we see there, auto-select commander not as reliable as it once was. So let us out, and that metal, is it going to be usable? We'll try for that in a bit later. We don't want the delay. So we want to try and place everything in such a way as we minimise our commander's movement. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be possible to place the factory without movement. Let's do that. Right, so we're getting down what is a fairly standard opening. 3 metal, 1 power. The order has changed across builds, but this is what you might think of as the most conservative bog standard opening. There are a couple of variations that people will use occasionally, but this one has worked across builds for as long as I can remember. So we're going to start off with a few Fabras to get expansion going, then a couple of scouts, then a small force of tanks to defend us, I think. Let's get that 5, and then we're just going to get lots and lots of fabbers. And I should probably queue up the next. Okay, we want to queue up some metal, some energy around here, but we don't want our commander to move. And then another factory, and then let's see if I can get this to turn white. Boom, there we go. Okay, let's start the expansion for you. Start grabbing some metal. Here, here, and then we'll expand out this way. And then we don't want to go that way because it's fairly metal empty. So, there we go. Lots of stuff queued up. And you, we're going to get you helping the commander so we can grow our energy quickly. And we just need to make sure that everything is always doing something. So set up a decent sized queue to make sure that units are idle. And you can see here we're stalling on energy a bit, so that's the sort of thing we want to look at. You know, when you review your game, what could you have done differently? Part of that's going to be how could you avoid actually stalling out your economy in the first place. What's going to be the best way to grow here?
More metal is required.
I'll grow it that way, I think. Okay. Let's get our skitters. Let's send one out this way. And let's send the other one down this way. And hopefully that should cover us against all the possible places where I think the AI might spawn. Right, and we'll send a tank out with him. Make sure that he's defended. So what we're doing here is we're just expanding our eco out. We've got ourselves a fighter which we can use as scouts as well. Oh, and indeed we have enemy contact already. So let us keep a skitter out here so we can see what he's doing. And let's get this tank over here so we can start hassling him. And let's add a couple of bombers into the order here. So the very first thing we want to do is, now we know where he is, let's start moving around here just to see where he's expanded at. Where did he start? Where's he expanding to? Okay, so probably should have been more effective utilising the commander. Let's live and learn, I suppose. Okay, so we can see that he's over here. Okay, right, so he's got his base down here. So we want to just start making sure that he can't take this metal field. That's the first thing. We want to kill off his expansion, so let's start putting some tanks out of these places. The places I expect he's going to expand to. There we go. Let's get Skitter over here so we can see what he's doing. Probably identify this place. Okay, let's get some more energy building with you because we're going to be producing a lot of factories very quickly.
More energy is required.
Didn't place your energy between these two buildings. Oh, there we go. Yeah. An exciting bug we see there. So we tried to queue up enough energy, but unfortunately the commander decided to bug out and not build it. Just got to keep an eye on that. You do that, and then you two can queue up a bunch more energy down the center here or something. You guys, keep hassling him. Alright, let's move you out into this energy field. You get down there. Okay, so we're doing alright. Okay, let's see, we've got some bombers here. He's trying to scout me. Let's see if there's any targets out here for us to hit with the bombers. Okay, let's be careful about his fighters. Right, so let's get my fighters down here. Okay, I'll keep growing this tank force. Keep coming down the sides here. Make sure that he's. There we go. Oh, lost him. Damn. Okay, not much we can do about that. Okay, where's the bombers that we had? Let's get those over here. So he's going orbital already. That's probably a bit too early for him. So I build some docks out here. Let's move you. Let's grab these guys and start really trying to give them some hassle over on this flank. Okay. So I've taken out the orbital. He's not going orbital just yet. Okay. Let's get that energy up that you don't seem to want to build for some reason. And then I think we'll just get you to build a whole bunch of things down the side. You guys. Here, get me a bit more energy, because we appear to be lacking. It's just a case of keep the economy expanding, make sure you're still ramping up your reduction, but make sure you keep the eco up to go with it. But at the same time, don't lose track of the idea that you still need to keep on him. You still need to keep fighting him. So we're going to take these planes. I'm just going to start scouting him again to see what he's doing, get an idea of what's going on. Let's see. He's got a aerial fabber. He's got a raid at the back of his base. Bunch of his own planes here. Okay, not much going on there we need to worry about too much. Bit of production, another orbital going up. Let's make sure he doesn't get away with that. And let's get some more factories going on here. Okay, let's take these guys. Let's start grabbing the metal out here. Okay, you guys go out there. Okay, let's get these guys because he's attacking down the front. And that reminds me, we should probably build a radar, something that you, just like me, are probably going to forget to do on a regular basis, because that's just how it gets when you're at our level, I think. You are going to forget to do things. Don't worry about it, it happens. The idea is, though, you'll get to a point where you're confident enough with your build order that you won't forget this stuff as much. You'll get much better at remembering what you should be doing at all times, rather than just suddenly going, oh god, I should have been building stuff. But you can see from my eco starting to float just slightly, and from the fact that he's producing this air force, we should probably be doing a little more about that. So let's get these guys down here, give them some cover. Okay, let's get these guys out here. We should probably add some stingers into the mix, actually. Actually, no, we're probably all right for the moment. We're doing okay. And let's get this factory queue going on again. We'll stick a tier 2 on the end there. A couple of tier 2s, actually. I think we've got enough going on. Alright, we should probably get these factories set up to start funneling tanks to the front, because right now, as you can see, they're not necessarily being used as well as they should have been used. Let's get out to the flank here. Let's go around the side, make sure it's not doing anything.
Insufficient energy.
Okay, let's move in here. I think we've got more than enough tanks going on that we can start to make some kind of push. Just check for turrets. I didn't see any. So let's push in the center. Again, just make sure that we're still bumping up our production. So you're expanding out, that's fine. We grab that with this commander. And then we'll build some more factories over there. And let's grab these guys and send them over here. Okay, we don't want to head straight towards the commander, so let's move. So avoid that. Alright, let's take down these. Oh, there we go. We totally underestimated our foe there, didn't we? Okay, let's take out the bombers. We don't need to worry too much about the fighters. They're not such an issue. Okay, alright, his commander's out there. We're not doing too bad. Let's start throwing some infernos in the mix to give us a little more hitting power when we get into his buildings. I think we added spinners around here somewhere, right? Okay. You go over there and help these factories, because right now I'm not using that build power very well. And you get back here and start grabbing me more metal. Okay, we're running a little behind on our energy. Probably lost some of them to bombers. I think. Yeah, okay, so you go over here and help these guys. We need to start giving these guys a bit of patrol area. Because we'll land bombers to get the better of us there. Sort of embarrassing way. Right, let's push out to the flank. He's starting to... So you see he's coming in through the flanks as well, and we should have done a better job of defending that. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to take this force we've got here now and make a big push in down this side. So we'll come in here and then we'll push across his eco rather than coming down here where we're going to get split up by these mountains. Right, so we just need to make sure that we're moving our air force out to actually do something. Let's come around the back as well. So let's take these guys here and just make sure he's not starting to take all this ground around the back here. Okay, so we're going to put a little turret there as well because he's scouting us. Just don't want him to use that opportunity to take us all out. Okay, so got our tanks moving forward here. More tanks. Let's push down this way, and then we'll come in the base on the other side. Yeah, think the commander can handle that. Perfect. Okay, we've got more tanks. Let's bring them in as well. Alright, so our economy's doing okay. It's starting to floating a little in terms of metal, but I think we should be careful about that because that's going to be embarrassing. Yeah, that would be embarrassing if we were to lose to that guy. So there we go. Oh, well, that was embarrassing then. Okay. Well, that was just bad play by me. Being a bit lazy there. Alright, let's move these guys out here and then come down there. Okay, as you can see, we're pushing to the centre of his base now. It's no problem. Probably throw some Infernos in the mix here as well. Let's make sure we've got some real force to take that out. Okay, keep pushing in, keep pushing in. Keep tabs, and then we should probably start looking at pushing some of our own orbital just in case he's managed to get off planet. So let's go make that over here. Okay, these guys are going to go over here and help this factory because we're clearly not getting air out fast enough to counter his air. Does look like he completed his orbital, so quite possibly gone off planet. So we should also start getting up our gate because we're going to need to send all of our units off planet to go take him out. So let's start gathering them up by that gate. Right, well, we actually felt we want to add a fabrication bot, probably a couple of them. Let's also give it a destination of the moon so that we don't have to bother moving them there ourselves. They'll fly there automatically, and then after that it's just going to pump out Avengers. Let's make sure that you are set up to go over to this gate as well. Okay, so what we're seeing here is we've got pretty much got him on this planet, but he's likely flown off planet. Yeah, it looks like he has. Yeah, he's got off the planet. That was a bit sloppy by me. I don't think I've actually thrown spinners into the mix here either. I thought I had, but apparently not. I think I was probably planning to rely on fighters. And that's why I changed my mind, which is a bad idea because I'm terrible at using fighters properly. Okay, so let's just do a let's do a fly with his base with our fighters. Just shut that down, see what's going on. If he's got air, we want to kill it. Alright, there's not much going on. Let's go finish this. So we've shut down his expansions, he's not going anywhere. Let's take some of these tanks, just make sure he's got no eco over there. Okay. Bringing our air force down here. Okay, so at this point we just need to wait for this. Okay, so we've got a whole load of guys that are doing absolutely nothing. Right. Let's see if we can build that. Apparently not. Okay, let's help him. Should probably get some more of that up by now. Oh look, there's a bot attempting to sneak through, so let's go deal with that. Otherwise again, that would be embarrassing. And then we'll help that factory once it's finished building, so we can immediately get units off the planet as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, you can start grabbing all this metal that we have not claimed in no man's land, because it's our metal now. And let's take the commander over towards this gate. And that's fair. While we're at it, let's put that gate onto number 1, so when we get our gate up on the other planets, we can immediately just link them up, no problem.
Insufficient metal.
And you guys need to go in here and properly finish off this orbital. We are not doing a very good job of dealing with that. Okay, so we've got ourselves a massive force with absolutely nowhere to go thus far. But there goes the first of our orbital feathers, which should be, as it is, already flying over here to build us a gate. So as soon as it gets there, we will immediately commence construction of the gate to take out the AI. Okay, let's put it in no man's land because it reduces the chance of the AI actually finding the thing. Okay, we've got 2 of them over here now. And you can start checking the planet for stuff. See what's going on. Okay, you are number 2. Now we get number 1 selected. Now I've got them linked up. Let's get all these guys through this gate ASAP. Alright, so we select every land unit. And we tell them, please, 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 go through that gate. Because it's
additional energy factories required.
I don't think we need additional energy factories, but you say so. Okay, now let's go find them. You two. Just be some anchors here, will you? Just to guard this gate. You guys, let's start finding the AI. It's only a small planet. He can't be that far away. Let's grab the other half and go from the other direction. Odds are he's going to be somewhere in this metal field. We just need to shut him down quickly as possible. We don't want to give him too much of a chance to establish a base. You see he's still doing an occasional raid here, so what we should do is on our planes, we'll add bombers to the mix, and we'll set them on a planet-wide patrol, so anything they find, they can just take that straight out. Okay. Set our factories to go straight there. I don't know if they can rally through it. We'll soon find out. Right. This is where we find out in fact he never got off the planet and we just haven't found his commander hiding on the original planet somewhere. We should have set up the troll a bit earlier than that. Alright, you guys get over here. Because it's going to build some Tech 2 units, as you can see. And the last thing we need is a whole bunch of Tech 2. Embarrassing the hell out of me. Okay. Let's tell all air just to patrol the whole planet. So we've got what's going on. Ah, there we go. We did find him. He was hiding here. Yeah, I see. Okay, so yeah, there were definitely some ups and downs, I think, as we saw in that game. I think it's safe to say, and hopefully this is reassuring to you, that I did not play the greatest game ever. The important thing is to be aware of your flaws and mistakes so that you can learn from them. So let's reverse to the beginning of this game and take a look at what happened. So, first of all, we've been long talking before we spawned. There we go. Right. So, AI. Yeah, there we go, as we thought. Down this way. Yeah, quite a distance away from us as well. Spawn in a reasonably decent place. Probably a little constrained if I were him. I'd have spawned here. You start getting factories up around here, and then you can send your fabbers out to go that way. His natural expansion's over there and here. So I think, as we saw, we'd actually locked down his expansion quite well. If he was here, then he'd had to expand here, and we had tanks here at all times. Our main force was generally around this area. Probably should have locked down this bit a bit better, but it didn't do too bad. So you can see already that we've taken a metal lead over him. He's already plucked off on his metal little AI flaw there, but let's not worry too much about that. So we start expanding out. Economy's running okay. Little energy stalled there. Difficult to avoid early on, but maybe, for example, we should look here and say, well, should I perhaps have introduced one fabber followed by 2 skitters to give me a little energy breathing room there? Is that worth it? You know, the sort of thing you might want to try out. So let's accelerate ahead here. Okay, we can see here, lagging behind a bit in metal, just due to the way that the mechs is laid out. I think he's simply got more concentrated immediately in his vicinity, and we quite quickly catch up with our expansion. So it all equals out in the end. Our tank, you see that? Our harassing tank there, because we are constantly moving out and checking the expansions. We catch his scout, take him out. Our scout's keeping tabs on what's going on over here, so that we can see if he tries to push out, take, his nearby expansion points. And again, we'll bring more tanks down here. So this is really one of the key elements to how you should play this game. You don't go after the main base. The main base is heavily defended. It's got a commander, uber cannon. It's got its main production facilities. You hit the expansion points around the edge. You stop him from taking these expansions. You limit his economy, and by doing that, you prevent him from getting a larger production. So you can see here, in terms of metal, that he's quite a way behind at the moment. We've got something like a nearly 50% advantage over him in terms of metal, and we're starting to ramp up our production facilities quite well, I think. Now, we didn't catch this. This was poor play by me. What we should have done here, as you can see, he's coming right down the centre. quite literally pushing right down the centre here, and because I've got a little too obsessed with hitting him on the flank sides because of the fact that this is where his metal is, and he's not here, that I haven't actually thought about defending this area. So a lesson to learn here is that really should have got up a much earlier radar. We'd have seen this attack coming. And actually another one as well is that we know where he is. We know it's likely his attack's going to come this way, not round the longer back route. So why are my tanks all sitting here? We should be taking these factories here, giving them an order, move the tanks over here from most of those. Maybe leave one of them still spawning tanks here just in case he comes around the back. But for the rest, send the tanks here. That way if he does make a push, you don't have your fabricators hanging in the breeze. And this is going to hurt us a bit because it takes us a little while to get this production going again. Over here, again, Commander is expanding out. He's building up production by himself because he's quite an efficient builder. But don't be afraid to use him offensively. It's not a bad thing. You can get him to lead the army. Just be careful with him. You generally have something in front of him, but he can bring his firepower, the Uber Cannon. He can help decimate an enemy army that isn't supported by a commander, and that can give you quite an edge in any battle. And indeed, you can use that to turn around an enemy's economic advantage. If you take out an army they've invested a lot of metal in, with very little metal loss yourself, then you're starting to cause them to waste that economic advantage they had over you. So we're ditzing around the side here. See, we shut down his metal expansion completely. He's got nothing going on here. We weren't very good, I think, with countering his air. We're a little lazy about that. That's poor. That's primarily poor hotkeying on my part. With the hotkey system, there are options to select air on screen, select idle air, select all your air. And later in the game, I start doing that, but at this point I wasn't, and I really should have, because you see, he's flying around, he's dropping his bombs on my tanks, we're losing tanks, and we're not getting anything back. We should potentially have mixed some spinners in with some of these forces as well, and again, poor play on my part for not doing that. I think probably overall, in the current meta, for example, I think fighters are slightly better, but as I say, don't worry too much about the meta. You should be building up the foundations of good play first. The meta is going to change on a regular basis, and as long as you have the foundations of good play for the game, you can adapt to that meta. One day it's you should be building lots of bombers, and one day you should be building lots of tanks. But frankly, as long as you know how to manage an economy and build up your production base, then whatever the unit of the week is, it doesn't really matter you, because you just need the economy to build the thing. So we see here we are pointlessly losing some tanks, not doing a very good job of handling that. Got a bunch of fighters here that we have not used and do a very poor job of using. In fact, we should potentially have just put some over here, stalked at his factory. You land some fighters here, the second anything takes off, they all take off and blow it up. So we do a flyby here. We try and counter his force and suddenly realise that we have less fighters than him. But we use these two quite effectively. We take out these bombers here. We don't, because you don't need to worry about the fighters. At the end of the day, the fighters aren't going to hurt your ground force. They're just there to defend the bombers. And with the bombers gone, well, who cares? So event is commander. You can see already, look, we've more than doubled his economy now. He's trying to expand out here again. It's not going to be long, I think, before we end up sending another force round there. But his expansion out here is non-existent. He's not coming out the back. We're taking this territory. And indeed, as well as just continually expanding, this is actually very useful for intelligence. So we know that because we've got metal here, we've also got vision here. So we're getting a good eyes on the planet. We know where he is, what he's doing. Not perhaps reacting as well to it as we should be, but we at least know what he's doing. Again, big mistake here, and let all my air be focused in one place. Should be on patrol across the base so that he can't get away with these sorts of cheeky moves, because you have to play to your level. Perhaps it might be more effective to have all your fighters in one place so you can command them more easily, but on the other hand, do you have the APM to react to every little threat? I don't have that kind of APM. I can't play that way. I need to take advantage of things like area patrols better, keep those fighters going, and should probably have built a second air factory here, or use some of these excess fabbers that, again, I didn't manage very well, to assist that air factories, or at least pump them out, because we've already got the units. So why not make use of them? But you can see here that we're starting to shut down his economy. He's struggling for metal. He's really starting to struggle for metal, because we're shutting that down. We come around the back here, taking his Inferno. We're pushing out. And again, we're remembering this is a sphere. Just because his base is over here doesn't mean this is the only route that exists. We have to check out the side route. What's going on out here? Is he coming out to the side? 'Cause look, he's doing the same. He's bringing out his docks. and he's going to take this guy out before I can do anything about it, because I haven't very well accounted for this raid. I haven't put up defenses. At the end of the day, oh, it doesn't take me out. Okay, well, mistake on my part. Bad move, AI. Should have taken out that lone fabber. But yeah, that's one thing that the AI will teach you about, though. He will raid you, and that can be quite useful for the for the flaws in the AI and the way that it plays. It will raid. It doesn't play a half bad game in terms of keeping you on your toes across the map. And again, Air Force going on, starting to counter it. Allowed myself to fall a little too far behind in terms of Air Force, and didn't do a very good job of handling this stress. But Orbital in a 1v1, probably not the best choice by him. He wants to get the other planet. But his economy is so far behind at this point that this is more of a desperate escape move. And you see here, making a big push to take him out. And I think something to learn here is just force composition. So we're charging into the middle of a bunch of structures. Probably not the best force to do that. We could have done with more Infernos in the mix to really power through his energy and take it out. But we're shutting him down. He's down to 75% efficiency at that point. His production is relatively crippled. He's got a tier 2 factory going on that he can barely support. He's trying to pump that tier 2 economy, but again, he can't defend it. He can't hold it. He's got nothing to fight back with. So his only option was to get off planet. Meanwhile, we're building up factories. We've got more factories. We've got factories down here. We are hitting him from every side. We're hitting him over on the. Where is the North Pole at this point? Yeah, so we're hitting him from the west, we're hitting him from the north, we're hitting him from the east. He just can't defend against all that, and you can see the fact that he had to spread all these defences out to try and cover everything, and he can't. If I was paying more attention, we could really just park some tanks here. We could set the Air Force to properly defend these tanks in a way that I really didn't. Park some tanks here to take energy, park some tanks to take energy. We've got another tank force, and this is something don't forget about. Just because you're trying to take out its base doesn't mean you should forget about potential expansions. So again, we're coming in from the extreme west side. They've curved round the edge here, down through here, checking for mexes. So we check this field, we come in, we check this field, and we take it out so that we're continuing to deny metal. So even though it's got a planet, we're making it so that it has to start again. And in terms of Orbital, this is something you need to really toes about as well. You come into a base like this and you don't see a commander, odds are he's got off planet, and you need to react to that ASAP. So we've already started on our Orbital, although we should have put more units on it. We've got our gate up because we know that we have a huge economic advantage at this point. We need to rush over there and see what we can do about him. So, we had regular flybys of his base with our Air Force so that we knew what was going on. There were no big surprises in terms of what the AI was doing, because we always had good scouting intel on what his base was doing, what he was producing. So we knew that this wasn't some minor base that we were crippling, this was his base. Because I think a mistake that a lot of people do is they will lapse into allowing the AI to come to them. And you need to control the game. You need to make sure that you are the one pushing the attacks, because by having these forces constantly moving around the map, you know where the limits of his base are. You know where he's got to, where he hasn't. If you just sit here, then for all you know, he's taken the whole planet and it's a giant scary unknown, and he's taking this moon, he's building up, and he's building Halleys, and then he's going to come smash you. But by pushing this, we know he doesn't own this area. We know he doesn't own this area. We know he doesn't own this area because we have tank forces patrolling all around here, making sure that this is ours. At this point, I'm not sure if we've mixed bombers in yet, which we should have done a lot sooner. Once we've really started to take over, we should have put some bombers in to deal with things like this little tank trying to sneak around the side here. So this isn't good with idle engineers. So I need to look at my hotkeys, for example, for idle engineers to figure out what's going on. But I think we did about as well as we could once we realised he'd gone orbital. So we get in here, we finish off his forces. We attack from this side as well. Should have paid a bit of attention to take out the sheller, so that he couldn't do quite as much damage to my attacking force as he ends up doing. We're quite wasteful with our metal at this point. But really, it's just a case of he's gone over here. We need to make sure that there's landing force. He can't do much. But the AI has made a big mistake here, one that you should learn from, in that he's only just now building a factory. But when you land on another planet, a factory is the very first thing you should build. Because really, you need to take advantage of the economy you already have back on your main planet, and then take over this area as quickly as possible. You want to put down a factory and pump out the fabbers, because within 5 minutes you should own the planet. You should own all the metal extractor spots. You should have a teleporter if you've got an army, if you need to move an army around to defend yourself. And you should be ready with a huge, powerful economy to build up Halleys. There's no reason that this factory should be built so late. It should be one of the very first things to go up, because then he'd have more fabbers. And you can see this, in terms of what because he has no production on the main planet, his economy's not doing anything. So there's no reason not to be just producing fabbers and taking all of these metal extractors. Which also means that when someone lands a force, you know that it's happening. And indeed, as well as getting your land units, get us some air units. Because massive patrolling bombers, or even something from Tier 2, like the Hornets or the Kestrel, are going to make sure that this teleport that's really going to struggle to get put up. And once someone can't get a teleporter on your planet, you're safe for quite a while, because a player has to transition into an orbital force to be able to land, either through mass Astreus, where you've got patrolling fighters, you're probably going to shut that down, or through building up enough anchors to try and establish a landing zone that you can't attack them in. But unfortunately, once this has happened, and this kind of force is pouring through, you're all kind of screwed. And here I think we're seeing, yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is quite late in the game. I really should have transitioned to Tier 2 much earlier. You're seeing we should have got up a much bigger economy. And there's really no reason why these haven't been taken. This is just bad play. So I should have been taking these metal spots at the back, metal spots at the back, metal spots at the back. The AI's come in. I think these were initially owned by me, and the AI has since raided them. But to be quite honest, I should have been rebuilding them. I mean, I've got fabbers sitting around, not doing anything. There's no reason why they shouldn't, even at the laziest, have been given a planet-wide take the metal extractors order. So that even if I don't feel comfortable doing the micro involved in identifying each of the points I want to take, just give it a plant-wide order, let them go take it. We've got economic advantage. He doesn't have much production. He can't take them down as fast as I can build them. So let's get out there. Now we've got patrolling fighters and bombers. Those fabbers are going to be much safer anyway. And as you can see, we're really struggling for metal anyway, so we clearly should have been much more on top of expanding out and taking these metal spots that were at this point rightfully mine. Indeed, a transition to Tier 2, we should... Why are we building levelers? Yeah, I thought those would be building shellers, but never mind. Yeah, we should have got out some, Tier 2 fabbers there. Really started upgrading the metal extractors in the safe zones, putting down some Tier 2 power, making them push to the next push of production, so we can really get a Tier 2 economy going with Tier 2 units and nukes and all that sort of goodness that comes from at the higher level. As you stay in a Tier 1 economy, and you take too long to win, you're giving your enemy an opportunity to get straight back into the game just by having a more powerful economy in a smaller area, which is why you should be very careful about allowing an enemy to lock down a planet. If you let them by themselves on a planet for too long, they can make it very difficult for you to get there. So you need to have an awareness of what's going on in the orbital space. And this is especially true in larger games like free-for-alls, where you can't see what everybody is doing. So when someone's person goes orbital, you don't necessarily know that it's happened. So you need to get yourself into the orbital layer itself quite early. At the very least, get up some deep space radar, get your pip up in the bottom right there, and view the solar system. So if someone starts moving through space, you know it's happening, and you know you need to get involved in the orbital game, because you can't afford to be too far behind in orbital, because someone with a good economy can lock a planet of this size down really fast, really fast. I mean, like I said, within about 5 minutes you should own this entire planet, and at that point it should be almost impossible for someone to invade it. But I think overall, I think that went relatively well. We grew production. Our economy wasn't running too badly at any point. I think we dropped at the end there because we made that mistake, and I thought move it into the end game. We're getting comfortable. We're just moving some tanks around. We don't really worry about expanding anymore. That can be a mistake if you've underestimated the enemy. So be careful about falling into that trap. We should have gone Tier 2 earlier. I think we probably had the production for it if we'd been better at expanding, and we could use that to really bolster our economy and help grow these. Too many idle fabbers. Need to deal with that. Better use of hotkeys. But I think that generally we shut him down quite well. We took these areas out. Should probably have built some factories out this way, because I think he built up here a couple of times and we didn't take him down fast enough. But on this side we did very well. We grew the factories round. We knew where he was. He was never able to get out this way at all. Should have gone for an earlier radar. We had one later. Should have got one earlier though, so that when he made attacks down the centre we were ready. And again, maybe put one out here somewhere so that we weren't going to get surprised by these side raids that he was launching around here. We were a little inflexible over on this this western front here. The eastern front, very good. Western front didn't grow out there. Should probably taken some fabbers, built some factories out this way. Potentially this wasn't the best build area for those factories, but when you have trees, you need to make sure that you don't build on the trees, because that's going to really slow you down. So hopefully this was instructive and helpful, but yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments so that I know what kind of, what mistakes I made, and indeed how you'd rather see these videos done in the future. Should I do any more? But yeah, thank you for watching.